So look, guys, I don't know what WWE is thinking. I've had a really tough time with this one, and it's not the end of the world here. But this video is pretty much inspired because of this one segment on SmackDown. LA Knight gets fucking buried by Logan Paul. He got fucking buried. I'm not trying to be that guy. We're gonna get into the whole episode, but LA Knight just got buried. Like, it's pretty hard. And look, and we already knew most of the stuff about him. It's pretty hard to look at him right now and be like, oh my god, that was an incredible match. And guys, I'm doing this at 12 o'clock at night, so I'm exhausted right now. Just sorry about my voice. But yeah, Logan Paul just casually buried LA Knight. So we'll get into the whole episode. We'll talk about it. It's really nothing here is important at all, really. But there's a couple of interesting things. But this was the most important thing. This is definitely the highlight, was Logan Paul just not even trying, in a 5-minute segment, basically, just casually burying LA Knight's entire existence. He first calls him Hillbilly Aladdin, Larry the Lobster. That's pretty fucking embarrassing. Not that those are like crazy insults, but whatever. And he pretty much buries LA as a jobber. So he the whole segment's insane. It's not insane, but it's like the power dynamics between the two are really being shown in real time. So essentially, Logan Paul just outright says it. There's no real reason for him to face LA Knight, so he has no incentive to do this match, which is starting to feel like the case for a lot of Logan Paul matches, and it's starting to feel like that's his reasoning for a lot of his matches he uses beforehand. It's like, I don't need this, which is true, but like, maybe don't say that every fucking time. So LA looks pretty desperate throughout this entire thing. Entire segment, LA Knight looks so fucking desperate. It doesn't help that Logan looks 5 inches taller than him, so Logan looks commanding compared to LA Knight throughout this entire segment. It's pretty obvious. He looks huge. He looks way more serious. He's got the title around his shoulder or whatever. He looks way more serious. But he pretty much goes in on LA Knight. You need this title. You need this show. You need this star power. You need this match. You need me to be here. It's embarrassing. He makes LA Knight look like pretty much just a casual WWE mid-carder. He buries LA Knight's entire wrestling career pretty much in the whole process. He goes, you've been doing this for 20 years. And when he says that, like I'm saying it, the crowd notices these things, man. They notice these things. They're just slowly taking LA Knight. I hate using this word, but because it's fucking gay. But aura. They're kind of taking away his aura. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, yeah, we know, he's 40 years old, and and he even calls him by his first name. I forget what LA Knight's first name is, but which is terrible too. I mean, just to demean him even more. But this whole story kind of sucks because all of it feels like LA Knight needs it. LA Knight needs this. LA Knight's chasing him, which is true. Like, that's how it should be, I guess, to a certain extent. He's the champion. He's got a bigger platform, but an unbelievable fucking burial. I mean, just the whole time. And it's like, what do they do with LA Knight in the end? They were like, LA Knight, well, he's going to go against Santos. I'm like, oh. He starts beefing up with Santos, and I'm just like, who cares? Who cares? They've done this before. LA Knight's pinned him like 4 times now, I swear, over like the last 1 or 2 calendar years. So, whatever, man, who cares? But that was shocking. I mean, that was very shocking. LA Knight just casually getting destroyed. Just destroyed in a 5-minute segment the entire time. Like, no reputability, no willingness to make him look decent. Just destroy him. So let's just go through the rest of this episode. So we'll start from order now. We'll start with the order, but I thought that was undeniably the most eye-opening part of this episode. Just LA Knight he's getting buried. He's getting buried. He's a jobber essentially. He's getting buried as a jobber, as he's desperate, as all he cares about is wrestling. All he cares about is he's been doing this for 20 years. He's old. He's washed up, and this is all he can do. He's trying to achieve his dream finally, and Logan's looking like the guy who's like, I already achieved my dreams. Fuck you, and some. It's horrible, man. It's a burial of LA Knight throughout the entire... WWE needs to do better with LA Knight, man. They protect this guy a little bit more, man. Just casually letting him get buried. That was brutal. The show starts with a Cody segment. He beats up Waller and Theory after they come out, and oh my god, because of you, we got beaten up by the Bloodline. Some stupid nonsense, whatever. And of course, like, they're getting buried in this segment, I guess. It's just like, 2-on-1, and I know Cody got some help from some boxer, I guess. I don't even know his name, honestly. I don't care if I get hit for that, but I don't know his name. I forget his name. And he's a famous boxer, and he got a steel chair, to help him even the odds, even the situation. And it just wasn't really like, this is a boring segment, whatever. It didn't hit. It is what it is. It set us up for our main event, though, which is going to be Waller in Theory taking on Cody and Mystery Partner. You just take your bet right now. If you're listening to this video, take your fucking bet right now. If you haven't watched SmackDown, who the Mystery Partner would have been, take your bet. It's so obvious. But either way, that was fine. Whatever. The next match was the best match on the whole show. Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. This was built up last week with the little interaction. This was an awesome match, actually. Like, surprisingly enough, this was like a good 10-ish minutes or so. I can't remember, but something like that match. And they both were going back and forth, and they both gave us some pretty solid moves. And but I thought throughout the match, Andrade looked better. He looked more dominant. And then Andrade hits him with this sick spot where he's trying to hit him, I think, with a backflip off the top rope, and Melo dodges, and then instead Andrade ends up landing into another backflip onto Melo. It was really cool, actually. But Andrade ends up winning the match, so this match was good overall, though, and it honestly helps Andrade. Of the two who deserves it, Andrade is way better than Melo. Melo might get a separate video one day where we just kind of I don't want to bury him, but Melo is not legitimate, and WWE doesn't really care about Melo, so maybe not, at least like for now. And I don't think they really do. I don't think Triple H gives a fuck about Melo. I think Melo is not really in the main part of the plans. But no one in SmackDown is. Like, let's just we'll go through the whole episode, but no one here is important. There's no one here getting developed. There's no one here whose name is increasing, whose star power is increasing, literally at all, outside of maybe the Bloodline. So Jacob Fatu and maybe Cody, I guess, but we can get into that later. That's fine, whatever. But that was a good match. No, I said that was actually a good match. Sorry, the Andrade match was a good match. That was a great match. Bayley and Nia had this segment where like champ versus competitor, like off the camera segment. They've done this before. Kind of like the Riddle versus Seth Rollins segment, like that type deal. And in this segment, it was fine, nothing unbelievable. I think Bayley kind of got real, and she did get real, and she starts talking about Nia being clumsy and how she hurt her because of her clumsiness. And Nia looks offended, and Nia like ends the whole thing with saying like, "Is this over? Or is this done?" Like after like a moment of like mild pressure. It was okay. It's fine. It got the job done. It continues the feud. Then we get this segment with Bianca and Jade and Chelsea and Piper, and this was just not interesting. And it set up a match for Chelsea, and she got jobbed by Bianca. So Bianca beat her in like 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, and that was it. There we go. And that might progress their stupid tag team feud with the current champions, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, who are horrible champions. And I'm just gonna say it right now. Isla Dawn is fucking annoying. Her laugh is so fucking annoying. I know it's supposed to be kind of annoying. I get it. It's supposed to be conniving and annoying, whatever. It's really annoying though. It's like cringy. It's like cringe annoying. It's too difficult to like deal with. I don't even want to react to it because I don't want to give her the time. But it's like, it's so fucking cringe. She's cringe. She's like huge cringe. She's really, really huge cringe, to be honest, man. And let's just go over and the fact that Bianca and Jade, this was like the big segment. Like this was the big segment with their tag team competitors. Let's just say it for what it is. A lot of people were all about the Jade Cargill bandwagon, and nothing on Jade Cargill, but it's pretty obvious, and a lot of people really wanted to go in on this person and go in on AEW, but Mercedes Moné is blowing her out the water as a signing right now. I'm sorry, she is. Jade is boring. Jade is not interesting right now, and I wouldn't even be surprised. Like literally not interesting in any capacity. And you could say, well, she looks like a star, and all that's all true, And as long as she's with Bianca Belair, like she's healthily protected, but she'll always be fine. But she's boring. Like, she's so boring. Her time in the Fed has been boring. So, it's not been long, but it's not been particularly interesting. Mercedes Moné is definitely looking like the higher, way better signing of the two. And not that she's some amazing signing, not that she's completely value for money, but she's definitely the better signing of the two, at least. That's pretty obvious. She's the far more impactful signing. I see her more on TV, and I give a fuck when she's on. I care way more when she's on TV, even if she's annoying. Especially now that she's a heel. She's entered a heel phase. She's acting like the way she should be, just because she is a heel in real life. She's annoying. So this works. I'm fine with that. But, I like what Mercedes is doing, actually. I think she's doing okay work in AEW, But yeah, the whole like Jade Cargill bandwagon, like she's way better. AEW's making a big mistake. Jade Cargill, like, she's lacking personality in a lot of cases. She really seems like she lacks personality. She seems like she doesn't understand what's going on. We'll see what they do with her, man. We'll see what they do with her. She's a project, ultimately speaking. Then we had the Tiffany Stratton match with Michin. Michin ends up rolling her up for the win. Bayley distracted her by destroying her Money in the Bank briefcase. This is just like unnecessary. And then as she's destroying it, she opened the briefcase and stuff came out of the briefcase. And then as she's like, for some reason she gives the briefcase back to Tiffany and then she puts the stuff back in the briefcase. It's just like not good, man. Not good. I wasn't particularly interested in that. But it's fine. I guess, again, it like keeps the feud going with Bayley and Tiffany and Nia, I guess. But I don't know. Bayley needs to probably lose the title soon, man. Bayley's not particularly endearing as a she's a good prototypical babyface champion. But you can give her the belt. People feel good with her on the belt. People feel comfortable with that. But she's been lifeless during this title reign. Like, it's just not. I feel bad for her. There's nothing to work with. That's really the problem, ultimately speaking, though. They kind of stripped SmackDown a lot of those main competitors. She'd really do. I hate to say it, with like Charlotte Flair coming back. Like, honestly, Charlotte Flair coming back would really, really, really massively improve SmackDown as a product. It seriously would. And then we'll just end this. And actually, before the show ends, there's a Bloodline segment. And Solo actually kind of sounded legitimate. He's going off. He's the new chief and tribal chief, and it was fine. He looked pretty legitimate. I give Solo his credit. I thought he looked really legit. I'm not someone who really thinks he does look legit in this role. I think he's kind of a goofball still, but he seemed serious. Seemed on point. His lines are very on point. He's sticking to the same formula over and over again, which is good. He should be very consistent. As long as he's staying consistent, then I think he'll do fine. But it's okay. He looks somewhat believable in this role. It's fine. And then the show ends kind of in a boring fashion. The same old thing. Predictably, Cody picked Kevin Owens as his tag team partner, and they're going against these two. What was it? The Theory and Waller. And unsurprisingly, Theory has to take the pin. The match ends. And who's interfering? Oh, it's the Bloodline. And the same thing happened. They put Cody through this time they put Cody through the announce table. But yeah, they put another dude through announce table. Jacob Fatu went rogue. He started beating everyone up. They're really building up Jacob Fatu, man. I hope they know what they're doing with this guy. I hope they understand the formula. If they're going to be building him up this high and building him up this strong. But yeah, this was fine. This is an okay SmackDown, but more or less everything here was filler. More or less everything here was just like, yeah, it was there and it barely progressed. Nothing really progressed. Yeah, everything kind of just stayed in place, which is kind of waiting for SummerSlam to come through at this point. That's kind of the name of the game at this point. But yeah, well, the only thing that really, we'll end it off here. LA Knight got buried. He got buried. He got really buried. We're making him look like such a poor man. We're making him look like such a bum. He's a scrub. Right now, he looks like a scrub. He looks like he's so desperate. He's so desperate. He might be due for a heel turn down the line. If he does win the title, he might be due for a heel turn. Even if the crowd's with him, I get it. we need to give him some more presence again, man. Because, I mean, and the title will probably give him that presence. I think that's going to be the case, but this was a tragedy for him. Like, he just looks so buried, and he looks like a jobber. He looked like a fucking jobber. It looked like he's so desperate. And now he's got to go prove himself. He's got to go beat LA Knight, sorry. He's got to go beat Santos Escobar next week. So, which he will, unless Logan interferes. So, whatever, man. This was a pretty mild episode overall.